Hi, welcome to Tarot and Tea Tuesday. Here we are. Not too much fuss. Oh, I forgot to dim that light a bit. Put that on my notes for next time. Dim light, because I remember last time it was so bright. Hi, it is Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Leo. It's Tuesday and we're almost at a full moon and it's tarot and tea time. I have brewed, so I've had this like tickle in the back of my throat. But I don't know if there's something pollinating right now that's just decided it doesn't like me and wants to attack my tonsils, but I've been feeling very tender of throat and I came across a jar of Kunzia leaves and I thought I'm going to brew that up because I don't know if you know what Kunzia is, but I'm pretty sure it's native to this area, but native to Australia for sure. I came across the essential oil years ago at the Honey and Soap shop in Adelaide, and used it for in muscle rubs and vapors for like upper respiratory stuff. Anyway, and then a friend gave me some and I decided to have it as a tea today. And when I was looking into it, wait, where did I find? So aside from the usual antimicrobial, antibacterial, it's very similar to tea tree, I want to say. But yeah, it's a bit richer than tea tree. Anyway, so when I was looking into it, it was also good for dry, flaky skin and as a pain reliever and mental exhaustion. That's the one where I went ding, 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 because I have had, I've been just mentally so white. I just finished a subject for my Masters of Counselling and I've just been feeling really mentally exhausted. Could be menopause as well. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, yeah, this is another good reason to be drinking Kunzia tea. So cheers. Here's to that. So delicious. It's not as sharp and spiky as tea tree flavour can be. Highly recommend it. Okay, so the tarot cards that we're working with today are called the Fairy Tarot. It's it kind of goes a bit blurry, but anyway. Can you even see the little montage there? I love the green that's used in this. It's very soothing. They have acorns. They have, there's some, this one. Cute little fairy art. It's the kind of storybook fairy idea, not the actual fairy. Well, they might be actual fairies. They kind of look gnomish even to me. There's a lot of acorns happening there. Let's go back this way. Oh, there's another. They're just really cute. I like the color palette. Like it's quite bold, and we've got look at that. King of Bells or something there. Got a Leo moon. Might as well go for bold. So there's leaves, and you saw the acorns. There's also hearts. And what's the earth one? Oh, bells. Very cute cards. Okay, who's the artist? Antonio Lupatelli and Richard Doyle are the artists. So I had one question. Excuse me. Definitely need that Kunzia. And it was about balancing masculine and feminine. So I won't even start waxing lyrical about that. Let me just pull the card out. Okay. Oh, a bell. Two of bells we have here. can see down in this area some little kissy fairies leaning over a mushroom. Bells are related to the symbol of earth, pentacles, coins, and the concept of the material realm. Let me see if I can get some. Material realm, like career or home, job, stuff, and this one here. So traditionally, traditionally it's the juggling. There's a character juggling 2 cards, usually on a beach or on a shore or near the ocean somewhere, with like either clouds coming over, like a storm coming, or a tsunami or something. There's something in the background, and they're on the shore. So I'm just taking that information to interpret these cards, which are, I feel like they're from culturally a different perspective, but I'm sure we can find our parallels. Okay, this little guy, or there's 2. Well, I like it because there is a masculine depiction and a feminine depiction in this card, and the question was about balancing masculine and feminine. They're having a cheeky kiss over the top of this fungus, this little mushroom. And I guess for me, the 2s have always been that thing of like, when you look at the pip cards, if you're looking from ace through to 10, ace is like the gift card, or the beginning of a new cycle, and it represents the theme of that cycle or the pattern that cycle may take. And obviously because this is an earth symbol or element, it's talking about and it's number 2, so I would say it's not long after the initiation of some kind of process on the material realm, because it's represented by earth. And 2s I've always seen as like, so you've got the gift here of the ace card, the theme, the pattern unfolding, and 2 is this kind of gateway, this space that's created within that hope, that initiation, that onset. The space is created with the number 2. If you look at the major arcana, the number 2 is the high priestess, and she's sitting there with a pillar on either side and holding space between 2 realms. What's another number 2? Oh, the 11, which is 1 and 1 is 2, is the justice card. Again, it's that thing of like things being balanced and weighed, and I'm pretty sure traditionally the justice card has got the person holding the scales between 2 pillars. And I guess like with the number 2 cards, if we're thinking about this one here, or the traditional image of this card with the person juggling on the ocean, you've got the in between 2 realms. So there's the ocean in the background, and they're on the shore, and you're assuming the land is where the image is being perceived from. So between 2 realms there, juggling the 2 different aspects of something. And often it's like this, there's this figure of 8 that wraps around the 2 items that are being juggled. But it is that thing of the infinite process of homeostasis, or being in balance, or that cyclical idea of like something's always going to come up and fall and rise and fall. I think in Chinese medicine, the yin and yang of it all, like everything's sort of in this constant state of flux. And from what I can remember whenever I've seen the traditional looking card, it's about choices that you make. You're juggling between two choices, and really concentrated on that. And if you over focus on the things that are immediately there and distracting you, like keeping balls in the air, you can kind of lose sight of, there's a big storm coming in the background, and that might change completely the dynamic of this choice or the way that I might choose out of these two things. So anyway, going back to this particular card, I feel like with this one, it's sort of these two are being a little bit like it's like a little sidetrack, like a pause in amongst all of that stuff that could be going on. It's a very narrowed down view, so it could be the over focus on the two little balls. Maybe that's what they're trying to get at with this depiction of the card. But anyway, it is about balance, and it is about it's interesting that the question was about masculine and feminine, and it's come up a bit for me, this idea of opposing forces. And if you didn't have the opposition, you wouldn't have the scale of space between those two opposing things. So I guess what this card often talks about is when you're balancing, it's about like really looking at the smaller detail. So because mushrooms are like hidden in the bottom of things, like you have to kind of like root around to find them a lot of the time. So that's why it's making me think of that, like really making sure the perspective is taken into that finer detail of what is masculine and what is feminine, and what does that mean inside of me. And then if we could zoom out of this picture and look around, it might be a matter of weighing up what are the influences that are impacting my own concept of what is masculine and what is feminine. So in that way, then, like if you consider the advice that I'm getting from this card is to, yes, consider those intimate details of, I've got to try to keep everything in balance of, this is me being masculine and this is me being feminine, and this is the center of that. The balance of that is this passing phase. It doesn't ever last very long. But what you can do is try to maybe lessen how far apart these balls are getting that you're holding up in the air. So you're doing like little juggles instead of big ones, and that can kind of throw you off balance. Because then when you have more control over the edges of that space and what that space looks like, then you can start figuring out what's moving through that space. So that the stuff that's around the outside that could be influencing that space, and the impact of that on how you are maintaining balance. Because it doesn't matter how much you focus on your perception of your internal balance of masculine and feminine, there is always an external balance at play of masculine and feminine. And what's really lovely about nature is that we can observe these swings. For example, not all cultures, but a lot of cultures perceive the moon as a feminine and the sun as a masculine, and that speaking very broadly here, and it's not always the case, but let's use this as an example. When the moon is at the brightest, at full moon, the sun is opposite, and they hold very different spaces. So the sun will peak in the middle of the day, and the moon, full moon, will peak in the middle of the night. This is coming up in the next 2 days. And they rule their domains. But what happens is, because the moon doesn't always find herself at zenith or at the peak in the middle of the night, there's this sort of fluctuation of feminine moving around the masculine held space. We see that the impact of that on us in terms of like a monthly cycling process. But then if you look at the impact of the sun fading in winter and becoming stronger in summer. There's another cycle. So there's like cycles within cycles. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that even though you might be on a quest to understand how your feminine and how your masculine work, within that they don't work in the same way. So you can't treat them in the same way. And then on top of that, you've got an external concept of masculine and feminine having an impact on your own balance of that. So it's like layers upon layers, upon cycles. And I guess the most important thing is like this little card here, just really holding on to what you can control, bringing what you can control into your control, in terms of understanding, knowing what distraction, what you're hunting for, what distractions you're looking for, how deep to take it, and maybe even when to move away from those minor details. Yeah, the two of Earth. There we go. Thank you. That was a bit rambly, but I hope you got something out of it, and I hope it helps with the balancing of masculine and feminine. It's a big thing. I feel like there are certain like defined roles of what it is to be in your masculine and in your feminine, and it is that thing, like I was saying before, of the yin and yang principles, where there is something of one in the other always, and they're always moving towards each other, but in that movement they're moving away from each other. Like there's just so many clashing binary concepts within all of that. That's why I like the idea of how nature and the cycles of nature can help us to be a bit more flexible, I guess, in how we define these binaries and how we can slide between the two without feeling the friction of imbalance. Have a great day.